you'll see that I have the skirt, and I'm at the top where the waistband is going to be. I have started approximately 3.5 inches in. In this case, it's right on the side of the band. Using embroidery floss, I take the full thickness in a nice thick needle. I have knotted one end, and so I'm just using that because it's the correct size. I place my measure guide, pinch it, do a little stitch through, place my measure guide, pinch it, do a little stitch through, and I'm going to continue along this manner all the way along the edge till I get to the other side. And when I'm done, the result will be a nice, pretty cartridge pleat. I've come to the end of my cartridge pleat, and I'm going to, you can see I've already begun the gather. I'm just moving along. I'm cartridge pleating into 25 inches of a waistband for this particular example. I am going to knot this with a little bit of room so that I can adjust the pleats while I'm working with the waistband. With the waistband, this is 3 inches longer than the measurement of the waist. This allows for overlap for hooking so the skirt can be adjusted for size differentials. You'll see I have a right side and a wrong side. My wrong side is reinforced with very stiff interfacing. What I'm going to do here is, starting a 1/2 inch in from the edge, I'm going to pin the edge of my skirt to the waistband, like so. I'm going to come to the other end of my waistband, measure in my 3.5 inches. The extra 1/2 inch is for seam allowance. So you can see I've measured in 3.5 inches, and I'm going to go ahead and pin that for a moment. And then I'm going to take the edge of my skirt, like so. I'm going to go ahead and pin it on, like so. You'll see that I still need to gather the skirt in. The midway for my skirt, I'm going to take that halfway mark, and I'm going to go my halfway point, in this case right here. And I'm going to go ahead and pin that halfway mark on to keep my gathers, my pleats even. I take my string and I go ahead and I pull it. Get my gathers onto my waistband. Lined up, pinned lightly. Like so. And then I will adjust this so that my pleats are even, like this. So they're pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm just going to pin this to keep it from moving. Come back to the other side, do the same thing. What I'm doing is, because I'm not going to gather where my trims are, I want that to lay nice and flat. So I'm pinning that, and of course I didn't, gather it to begin with the cartridge pleats. Make sure my pleats are uniformly gathered here. Some of it's facing in when it should be facing out, so on and so forth. So I'm just fixing that. Again, the pleat was pretty good. Didn't need to adjust too awful much, which is great. I love when a pleat comes together. And do it like that. I'm going to go ahead and pin about halfway through just to keep them from moving too awful much. All right, and you'll see what I'm doing is I'm pinning it In this case, I left the selvage edge just to protect it. There was no point. Velvet frays a lot, and so this helps protect it, and no one's going to see it. It's going to get tucked under and sewn on the underneath anyway. So what I'm going to do is you'll see the pleats look like this. You've got your good side and your wrong side, or your lining side. And what I'm going to do is I am going to line my good side up right about where the two meet, where the selvage edge meets the good velvet. And then I'm going to sew this way, and then I'm going to sew back the other way. And then what will end up happening, and I'll demonstrate this in a few moments, is I will come back through and I will sew this down to the seam allowance. And what that does is it keeps my pleats from moving, and it gives a nice pretty on the underside so it doesn't show. Thread. And for me, because the pleats are what I'm working on right now, I'm not going to worry about actually pleating or sewing this piece on just yet. I'm going to actually start where my gathers and my pleats start. I like to tuck my knot on the inside. And then I just take my pleats. Like I said, I have to pull them out so that the pleats are uniform. There we go. And then I just run along. I make sure I gather the stitch right in the middle, right up through there. This does get going faster. I'm trying to do it, get it started. Eventually, your floss will be removed, so try to keep it from being tangled in your thread. So, there we go. All right. Pleat 1 sewn on. It's not permanently attached yet. I'll have to go back and secure it so that it doesn't rip away real easily. Pleat 2 sewn on. So you can see already, see how nicely that's laying against the waistband. Pleat 3. And no, I will not count the entire thing. I just want to give you an idea of, sorry, thread was getting tangled. So you can see how nicely this is laying. Nice pleats in there. Okay, that's where we're going. I'll be back. I want to reiterate too, something I hadn't mentioned before, so I guess it's not reiteration. I would also like to encourage you to every so often go ahead and do a securing knot. Create a loop, put my needle through the hole twice, and pull it down. That way, if your string snaps, if your string gets caught up and you have to cut it, you don't lose your entire row that you have already secured in place.